good morning. Welcome to 2020, guys. This is our first live chat since the Christmas break. It actually was a bit longer of a live chat break than I was anticipating, but I think I just needed it. If you can let me know in the chat if you can hear me, if you can see me, all that sort of stuff, that would be great. I've just realized I forgot to test my microphone, so, it could be bad. This live chat's going to have a bit of a different flavour to it than our usual live chats. I'm really going to be talking a lot about some of the stuff that's been happening with our bushfires down here. Now, there's a lot going on in the news. There's a lot already being discussed, so I'm not going to rehash all of that. You can totally go and read newspapers, look at your online news. If you're in the US, you are seeing what's going on here. If you're in the UK, you can see it. I've been seeing stuff from the UK newspapers and from the US newspapers come through as well. Good morning to everybody who is in the chat. I've just remembered to move my top chat to live chat, not top chat, because I will miss your comments. I'm just going to move my chat over here. Oh, covered everything. Don't want to do that. Bring that over here. Let's see how that goes. So one of the things I really want to talk about is that there are some really amazing fundraising efforts going on and efforts for our rural fire services, for our fire brigades. There's so many donations that have been made for the families that have been affected. Something like 2,000 houses are now gone. That they've actually asked for people to stop donating physical items. Now, this is not because they don't appreciate your heart. This is because the roads are blocked. The small areas that they have for people to shelter in are now filling up with these donated items, and they may or may not be what people actually need. Now, it's not to say that that they don't appreciate your giving heart. They absolutely do. But what they're asking for is cash donations. So there are plenty of places you can donate to, like to the Red Cross. I'm sure that the mods will be throwing some links up soon. But what I'm focusing my attentions on is an area that I felt was being a little overshadowed. There are so many people working with the people, working with the human loss, working with the housing and the sheds and the livelihood loss that's going on. One thing I noticed was that there wasn't a lot of people working on the wildlife loss. So Australia is this massive, great country. Some of you have been sharing, and myself included, have been sharing images to try and sort of portray how big Australia is, because it's not some tiny little island country, it's a huge continent. And it is this massive area that has been burnt, and it is a bit sad. I'm finding it really stressful. I'm very lucky where I am here. I am fine. I have got some air issues, but there is no fire here at this stage. There's nothing close to my home. I'm in a suburban area about half an hour outside of Brisbane, which is outside of a capital city. I'm okay. But I wanted to be able to do something. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing stuff for the animals. So if you follow my Instagram page, which if you're not, you really should be, because, I love Instagram and that's kind of where I post the most, is that sad? That's sad, isn't it? But what I'm doing is I'm making pouches and things. I don't have a toy Joey. This is a Joey pouch, but I only had I've got a koala and I've got a penguin. Abby's getting a bit old for stuffies, guys. These are the pouches that are being needed to be made for the animals that are being brought in. So we have lost over 500 million at last count, 500 million of our native animals. Koalas were already functionally extinct, which meant that without the breeding programs that humans had in place, they were pretty much dying out. And now we have lost so much of their habitat. It's terrible. I don't mean to diminish anything. I just have to be careful how I word it, otherwise I break into tears. So, and no one wants to see that, honestly. So what I'm doing is I'm focusing my efforts on wildlife. There are so many great organisations looking after people. I want to help with the animals. Okay, guys? So Spanachick has tossed it in my Insta link. Thank you, Spanachick. I've got in the in the description below, I popped in some links. Now, one is for an amazing Facebook group called I can't even talk now. See, it happened. Oh, hang on. Animal Rescue Craft Group. Now, this was a Facebook page that had like 20,000 members. It's now got over 100,000 members in the last week. They're struggling to cope a little bit just because of the sheer number of people who are wanting to help. So one of the things that you can help with, if you're not actually in Australia and you want to make a difference here in Australia, there's lots of different chapters. So if you want to start preparing for fire seasons in your countries, do that. Okay? I want to protect all the animals, not just my animals. Does that make sense? So, see, I've forgotten what it's called again. Animal Rescue Craft Guild are on Facebook. They're a Facebook group. And they have got a list of tabs across the top of their Facebook group. Go in and read those. There is files for all these patterns that I'm using. There's files talking about what kinds of yarns are required for what. Now this is really important, guys. You need to use the right yarn for the right project or it is useless. If they're putting a burnt joey into one of these pouches, it has to be 100% wool or 100% cotton, because you know yourself, if you have a burn, things stick to it, even if you've got dressings and things, and sometimes it's a bit hard to get dressings onto everything of these little wildlife animals. You want it to be a natural fibre and it needs to be quite firmly crocheted or knitted so their little tiny cute claws can't get caught. And I saw a beautiful image of someone showing why not to use terry toweling, and it was a little joey with its it was so tiny, picking up the little bits of terry toweling and eating it, which is really bad for them. I've got to bring the chat back up, guys, because you guys are going to be lifting me back up again. So you guys have to keep, being encouraging in the chat, because I find this whole topic really stressful. But my way of dealing with this is helping, okay? This is how I deal, is I help. Christine Chris says, I know how you feel. My in-laws had been volunteers for fauna rescue for a while. That's a tough job. That is a tough job. So if you're in Australia, if you're anywhere in the world, go and join this Facebook group, Australian Craft Rescue. I keep thinking it's Australian. It's not. It's Animal Rescue Craft Guild. Go and find them on Facebook. Here we go. Jackie's got a link in. There we go. Now, the other thing is, if you want to make a cash donation to this group, see, we have a lot of people making things for them. One of the other things that they are doing is they're supplying all the food. So all these baby joeys that need special formula, all these baby koalas, possums, ring gliders, like you think of anything native Australian, and they're having to look after it right now. So it is really, really imperative that they don't just get our wonderful created donations, but we also give them cash donations. So what I'm asking today is, especially for those of you outside of Australia, rather than paying that exorbitant shipping cost to get your beautiful handmade item to Australia, hit their donation page and donate that $10 instead, okay? It will make a huge, huge difference. I'm going to have a little drink and read some of your comments, guys, because I'm a little overwhelmed. I didn't realise how hard this would hit me while I was in chat. It's kind of been something I've focused on all week this week. So I'm going to have a little read. I assume that if you make pouches with acrylic, you should line it with a cotton fabric. Sally, double check, but I don't believe they're accepting any pouches made out of acrylic. Have a look. If you join the group, they've got these, they're making some wonderful graphics. So if you look at my Instagram feed, that graphic that I've been sharing with the green lights and red lights and amber lights of what they need, that's a graphic they're creating. And when they update it, I just share it. I don't make that. That's them. They also have another graphic. They've got some graphic charts. They are specifying what fabrics, what yarns to use for the different things. So what you need to do is ignore what the pattern says and go with what that chart says. So some of these patterns, they found patterns that work, like shapes and size wise, but we've got slightly different rules here in Australia, and some of these have not been designed by Australians. So you need to sort of really go by the chart. There's a link there. Jackie says, no more koala mittens. Absolutely, we don't need any more koala mittens for now. Rebecca Nelson says, you're making me cry. I'm sorry, Rebecca. I'm making me cry as well. I'm trying not to. Oh my God, I just did the thing. But there are some things that they can accept in acrylic. So there's these beautiful, cute little bird's nests. They're tight and they're little, and you actually hold 3 strands of yarn together because they want them to be really thick. So three strands of DK or 8-ply, so 3 strands of worsted would work just fine, and you crochet those. So I've basically been focusing on crochet personally, just because I know I can knock out crochet just that bit faster. You can make all of these things in knit as well. They've got patterns for both. Are you guys Chris Hemsworth for Christmas presents? You guys are terrible. Terrible is what I'm going to say. I'm just scrolling back a little. Love my hair today. Oh, thank you, Wad, but nice. I washed it. Let's have a look here. Yeah, see, there's so many. If you now you need to be careful and you need to make sure you're using reputable links. We've got some bad actors down here doing some evil stuff, so make sure you're using links that are verified, because people are making up these donation pages that aren't great. Now, something that was like really inspired me was Kylie from Fiber Lily. She did this amazing giveaway where she bunched together a whole pile of her beautiful hand-dyed yarn and sold raffle tickets for it, and then donated all the proceeds. And she's done that a couple of times, and she's got another one coming. So if you want to go and keep an eye on Fiber Lily's page as well, the money from this last raffle, I believe, is going to animals. Animal Welfare League. It's one, I can't remember which group it is. She's got it on there. So go and check out Fiber Lily. You can buy raffle tickets and you're in draw to win a beautiful prize pool of gorgeous Fiber Lily yarns. I wanted to do something different. And so I didn't want to take away from Fiber Lily, who was doing these amazing raffles, and also like Claire from Bob Wilson 123. She's got a page over on Facebook where she's donating the money. She's actually donating it as gift cards so people can buy what they need, like groceries and things like that, little things. Like if everyone's donating, you know, like all this stuff, but your child's allergic to just about the entire world, like me. You can't eat any of that. They can't eat any of it. They need a gift card to go and buy the special things that they need. Jackie says, these guys are missing out. I don't believe Wires works in Victoria. No, Wires may not actually be in Victoria, but they do have their own sort of version. So Spanish Chicks popped in a link for Fiber Lily, so that's cool. So those tickets are only $10 each, and I think I think the prize is something like $500 worth of beautiful hand-dyed yarns. I'm not exactly 100%. It's around that. So go and check it out to get the exact details. And I know that's running until the end of the week, so she can sell as many tickets as possible. She has already donated over $7,000 in 2 different raffles that she did. It's just an amazing giving heart, and I really want to push these people. So rather than make an additional sort of fundraiser that people have to decide between, I didn't want any part of that. I just want the money to go where it's got to go to, and if I just point you to someone else, then that's what I'm going to do. But if you want to make something, if you're in Australia and you've got the ability to just hands-on make something, then you can do that. And if you're outside of Australia, don't waste your money shipping. Donate them some cash for feed. Now, the other thing is there's if you go and look on this page, there's actually international hubs where you can ship your stuff to one person in like an area near you. Like say you're in Belgium, I believe there's a Belgium hub and there's an Italian hub, and there is there's multiple hubs in the US where people can ship stuff to, and those people are packaging up in massive packages and shipping over a big lot. So if you really want to do it that way, you can. Just really double check that you're using acrylic on things that can be used acrylic on, cotton on things that need cotton, and wool, 100% wool on things that need 100% wool. Now, this is another thing that I'm doing here is that I know not a lot of us have 100% wool. So what I've got inside is I've got some massive cones of 100% wool. It's undyed. It just looks like this. And I'm going to be rolling it out into skeins. And if anybody wants it, on my website, I'll have a couple of options. So people who can't afford to purchase it, but really want to help, there'll be a code you can use to drop the price down. And then those of you that actually want to, cover the cost of the yarn, these are going to be $5 for 100 grams. And these are normally $10 per 50 grams. So once I've dyed them, just so you know. So it's basically just covering the cost of the yarn if you want to, there's options tonight. So I'm going to get that up on the website by the end of tonight. So they'll all be up and ready in the morning. I just want to get some photos is what's slowing that down. I'm also, anybody who just wants some acrylic or just doesn't care what they get, like just throw me some yarn, Chantel. I'm actually rating my personal stash as well, and I've gone through and I've sought, like with some help from the Fibrific team. Actually, we've been tidying up my craft room, so the timing is amazing. But I'm going through, and anything that's like 100% wool, like I found a bit of a Bendigo ball for this one, and there's a ball of this one that's 100%. So I'm going through, and anyone who just wants some stash, let me know as well, and I can just poke that into a bag as well. If you just want to throw some money in to chip in for postages, you can do that as well. There's options, but there's also free stuff. Now, I'm also planning next Thursday night is Caffeinated Crafters. We're back. Woot! If you want to pick up some yarn, let me know. I'm going to have a whole pile of stuff there for people to go through and take with them. I'm also talking to my suppliers about getting some extra bits and bobs to help out. I haven't heard back from any of them yet. Some time zones are issues there as well. So we'll see what happens. We'll watch this space. I'm hoping to do more. So I'm going to have a cup of tea, and then I'm going to go to the hands down shot and keep crocheting. I'm working on another pattern. It is a joey pouch. This is not a joey. This is a koala. This is a penguin. But Abby had a little joey, and I don't know where it is. Anyway, Stacey Fleichner says, I'm making wool pouches and cotton liners. I'm going to ask local groups and carers first, as we had a lot of local fires in Queensland. Absolutely. That's the thing, Stacey. Look for your local hubs. Your local hubs also, like there's a local hub at Eagleby, which is just sort of not too far from me here. And I'm going to contact them first and say, hey, I've got my liners. Do you want me to ship them somewhere else, or do you guys need them? Not liners, pouches. So absolutely look to your local groups first, because then you can drop off and you're saving money on postage. You're also saving stress on delivery services, which is another problem that we're having at the moment. Is that the one you got with your mattresses? It is. It is. We got koala mattresses, and wrapped inside each one is a little koala toy. Yeah. Baby koalas are called joeys too. Oh, well, there you go. Thank you. I didn't know that. I had a fair idea, but I wasn't 100% certain. So let's go into our hands down shot. Double camera. Now it's a bit flickery, and I don't know why, and I can't stop it. I'm sorry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some pink there, and a koala here. There we go, a little koala man. Hello, koala dude. Now this particular pattern, I'm just trying out a few of them to see which one I like better and which ones I can bring up the fastest. This one was just single crochet or double crochet if you're in the US, and it's just chain 39. So chain 40, I don't know why they don't say chain 40. They say chain 39, then chain 1, and then turn, which is, anyway, it's chain 40. And then you actually work into the back loop, because we're trying to, the other thing is, we don't want any lumpy seams on the inside. You want nice, smooth, flat seams. Nothing for the little cheeky, think of what little kids do. Kids grab things and rip on it and pull on it and trash things. So we don't want any of that for these naughty little injured animals as well. So, hey, Witch Piece Craft with Judy. Hey, how's it going? Hey, Holly. I wish it didn't cost so much to ship from California. I 100% get it, Holly. I really do. And that's why I'm letting you guys know of the option of just putting in a little cash donation into this group as well. If you have a look in the description below, there is the link to the Facebook group, but there's also a secondary link to a GoFundMe. They actually had to start it up because their website was crashing with donations. So, which is kind of cool, but kind of sad at the same time. People want to help and then they can't. So they've got these things on for the GoFundMe. The other option, Holly, is to look for a local hub, or even, I know it sounds bizarre, but even just craft things for your local carers. And just think of it in your mind as you are helping animals everywhere in the world. We're trying to save these animals from extinction. So face cam. Oh, thank you. We'll see if that comes back. Oh, there we go. Good. Thank you for the reminder. I've got the chat covering it this time. So this particular pattern that I'm working on now is oh, hello, someone's messaging me. Oh yeah, they're telling me it's face cam time. So this particular one is what's it called? Linen stitch. It's a crochet linen stitch. So I'm actually finding it is coming up a lot faster than the straight single crochet one did. Apparently they're happy enough with it. It's in the list of allowed. It's in the list of allowed sort of stitches. They want tight stitches. They don't want anything with trebles because they're not tight enough. There's too much gap between them. I think there's a blanket pattern that's okay, but you have to have a read and have a look through the approved patterns and see what happens from there. Hey, Pip and Poppycock, cash donations will also help buy medical supplies. Absolutely. And with the amount of injured animals we've got, the supplies that these carers have are dwindling. There's a lot of really great businesses and people getting involved trying to help, but it's just trying to get everything to where it's got to be is really hard and really important. The other problem that we're having is even if an animal is okay, it's come through the fire okay, its food supply is gone. So these areas that were beautiful lush bushland or little rainforesty areas are now dead. They're gone. I drove to my mum's house the other day and my mum had been evacuated due to fires, and she's back in her home now, thank goodness. But we drive this we drive this mountain range to get to her place, and you get to sort of this one point where it looks all fine, and then you cross a ridge. And I literally, like, there was a hitch. Like, I was just like, oh. And this area that is normally, once you cross this ridge, we start normally getting this beautiful rainforest smell. It was empty. There was nothing there. There was some sticks out of the ground. And I was just like, wow. I had no idea that it was so, like, there must have just been so much, like, fire food in there that it just, anyway. I don't want to go down that road too much. But you've really got to sort of just keep looking at the long term as well. So we have to keep these carers so that they're comfortable and able to continue caring for these animals until some of this undergrowth grows back. Koalas live on eucalyptus trees. Eucalyptus trees make excellent fire. So, you know, there's a problem there too. So also donations to groups like Beyond Blue and other mental health groups. People are going to need long-term help. Absolutely. But there is also a lot of people donating to people is what I'm saying, Jackie. There's a lot of people getting in and donating to the fire services and to people services, Red Cross. I'm not saying don't donate to them. I'm just saying that they're getting a lot of the news cycles. So if we can put in our little edge into helping some of the animals, I think that would be really good. Can you guys see what I'm doing? Yeah, it's all good. Does it look weird that there's a penguin in a Joey pouch? But anyway, so my holiday was great. Sorry. I had a nice break. I've had the Fiberific team come over a couple of times and help me try and sort out my trash hole that is my craft room. It got to the point where it was no longer safe for humans to walk into it. And so the wonderful girls came over and really helped me to reorganize and gave me some good inspiration on how to move things around. And I'm also going to be doing a big de-stash of fibre. It turns out I had a lot more fibre than I thought I did. So there'll be a big de-stash of some beautiful spinning fibres coming up. Kirby, welcome to the chat. It's definitely going to take decades, if not a few hundred years to recover. Look, the Australian bush actually recovers fairly quickly. It needs fires. And we do have fire season every year. We do have fires come through, and there's some Australian plants that only reseed once they're burnt. So I think, you know, give it a couple of years and you'd be surprised. I think the ecosystems will be the problem. I don't think the growth and the food for the animals, especially things like koalas that eat leaves. I'm already seeing photos. There's this beautiful photo. Where did I see it? On Facebook. And it's this charred tree that looks like it's 100% dead. But there's already new growth starting to come through. And yeah. It's already starting to grow back. So that's the one big advantage with how the Australian bush works, is that it will come back fairly quickly. We just hope that in the meantime we don't lose all our wildlife. Now, I'm pretty okay if the spiders don't come back. But yeah, It's pretty insane. One of the things I saw on the news was that I knew our smoke had hit New Zealand. I didn't realize it had hit Chile, so it's gone right across the oceans. Um, yeah, the biggest issue to the extent that it is burnt. Sorry, Jackie. I'm not going to be like checking any links, but you guys can check those links and have a squiz. So yeah, so what I'm making here is it's this was supposed to be 15 centimeters by 15 centimeters. That's a great no. That's a no. This is quite large. This is probably more like 25 by 20-ish, I'd say, if not more. So I'm a little concerned how big this one's going to be because it's supposed to be like 30 by 30, but it's coming out at a similar size. Hey Kylie, we were talking about you and your amazing raffle. We popped some links in. We're just talking about what we can do to help the animals in these fire situations. And if you're so far away that it's hard to sort of help, then maybe a little cash donation to some of these groups would be better than trying to make little pouches and things like that. Oh, Jackie says total burnt area is huge. That is what I meant. Much larger than usual. Oh, yes. Yeah, this is a much larger scale than is normal, is what the problem is. We normally have fires that are controllable. You know, we might have a pretty bad fire that goes for about, a couple of days and that's it. This has been going for weeks and it's not stopping. So there's no, like they're talking about another 2 to 3 months in our fire season. Thank you, Spanner Chick. She's popped the link back up to Kylie's page with the raffles. So that is in. So if you are local to me, so if you want to come and meet up with the Caffeinated Crafters group next Thursday, let me know if you want me to bring you some 100% wool for you to work on. And I'll make sure that I've got some sort of hanks. Now, I will just be putting them into hanks so that I can roll them off the cones because they've all got to be washed is the problem. When my yarn comes on cones, it's been treated, so it's got a little bit of, so it can go through the machinery. It's got a little bit of fine grade oil on it. Nothing you can feel, but I know it's there, so I want to make sure it's washed before I give it to you guys. So it'll all be in hanks, so you'll still need to wind them into balls. Hannah says, I just Googled about it. Is there anything that I can do as a knitter and crochet for the animal bushfire victims without money? Hannah, where are you is the question. Are you in Australia or are you somewhere else? Without using money, the other thing you can do is if you don't have the skills or the money or anything, you can share these posts because someone else in your circle may be able to do something. So make sure you're sharing the Facebook post from whichever groups that you're interested in. Personally, I'm sharing Animal Rescue Craft Guild. Oops, I just kicked the camera. Sorry about that, guys. So you can just share the posts and you can help amplify their message. You can share out the little image of what's needed, get that out there, get that trending so people know that we need stuff for our animals. Their little donations is not just red, but it's also highlighted. Oh, there you go. Spanner Chick has got a good idea as well. You may be better off making things, selling them, and then donating that cash. Their needs are changing quite quickly as people feel them. And that is really important to remember, is that this image changes every couple of days. And especially some of the sewing things, people are able to sew up pouches and things like that very fast compared to us crocheters. I know of a friend of mine, she is an average sewer, I would say. She's not a hugely fast sewer, but she managed to knock out a whole pile of stuff just in one day of sewing that this took me like half a day. Just one. So we do take longer as yarn crafters. But the thing to remember is as the fires slow down, they do find more and more animals. So there's lots of things that you can do. You can share out the posts and you can amplify the message going out that we need help. And that Jackie's right as well. The needs will be long term, so donations in a couple of months will be also most welcome. That's the other thing that happens a lot of time with these events, is that everyone right now is helping. But 2-3 months when the fires have stopped, people like us who weren't so badly affected will sort of move on, which sounds harsh, but it's the reality. But these guys are still caring for animals and still finding animals that are injured and things like that. Where did you find the crochet pouch pattern? Judy, over on the Animal Rescue Craft Guild page on Facebook. Join their group. If you look in the Files tab at the top, they've got literally all their approved patterns are in there as PDFs. You can just download them and use them. Hey, Lydia Mason. So if you go and join the Australian Animal Rescue Craft Group, you'd think I'd know by now. I don't. I mess it up all the time. You should see me Googling it every single time I want a new pattern. The Animal Rescue Craft Group, go to their Facebook page and check it out. They've got all their pattern links there, but make sure you also grab the graphic that talks about which yarns for what projects, because the patterns themselves may not actually agree with that. Go with the graphic, don't go with the pattern. Because some of the patterns are patterns they found online that they're allowed to use, but they were designed by someone in another country. In Australia, our wildlife really does mostly need wool and cotton to protect it. The synthetic fibers really mess them up. I'm already a member of the ARC, but I didn't see. Yeah, so check at the tabs. If you just keep scrolling through all the files, there's crochet, sew, knit. There's heaps. So there's even loom knitting I saw there. So there's the occasional pattern that's just a little bit out there and a bit different. And Judy is knitting with pure wool. Excellent, Judy. That's what we want to see. I believe that they're accepting the bird's nests with the acrylic. I'm not 100% certain. Like, I've got to have a quick reread, but that's my intention. Is I've got some. The girls are going to laugh. I've got these rather, large balls of acrylic. They're in red, black, and white. I think. I have to double check. No, there's definitely red and white. I think there's black as well. I bought them for a project. And I'm not kidding, they're like massive. They're red heart, huge. So yeah, I've got plenty of like Aran weight acrylic that I can use, even before I start going into my old acrylic stash of all the different colours. And that's the other thing to remember, the animals don't care. If you get part of the way through a project and run out of yarn, just grab another ball. It doesn't need to match. Hannah says, actually, it's very satisfying looking at the way you crochet it so fast. Oh, thank you, Hannah. This is a nice, easy stitch pattern. So it makes it easy to be able to just move on with it and not have to go into too much detail. I'm finding it's crocheting up heaps faster than this one. So that's really good too. What yarn, what item? Oh, thank you, Jackie Doyle. That is brilliant for sharing that link. And that's really important. That's if you send in a whole pile of acrylic pouches, then they have to wait for someone to send in liners, and they can't use them until they've got cotton liners. So I think they're asking if you use acrylic to supply a minimum of 3 liners as well. So yeah, it's a bit weird because the acrylic doesn't keep the animal like we know from when we wear acrylic. Wool and cotton naturally breathe. They keep you warm better than acrylic. And now acrylics are getting better and they're softer, but sometimes the breathability, especially on wounds, is what they need. So unfortunately, if they say they need wool, okay, guys? And they mean 100% wool. So if they've written 100% wool, they don't want like an 80-20 blend, which is such a shame because I've got so much sock yarn I could have used. And it's, so much sock yarn, but this has got nylon in it, so I can't use that. So, yeah. Liners get messy because animals poop. Yes, they do. Animals do that for sure. Let me just check here. I've just realised I don't have my screen up. Making sure it's all working. So if you've got any questions, I don't know if I can answer them, but I can certainly try, you guys. Did you have a good Christmas? So just as a slight slight aside, did you have a good Christmas? Did you enjoy time with your family? Did you recharge your batteries? That's what I did. I recharged my batteries. And get ready for a 2020. We've got plans coming. Oh, hello, Big Fat Knot in my commercial yarn. Oh, you'll be all right. You're nice and tight. Jackie says, my mum raised a couple of Joeys a few years back. They are so cute but messy. Oh, yes. I had a friend of mine who rescued some wild ducks. And I don't know what she was expecting, but it was bad. Do you know what? I don't like that. That's so lumpy. And I have a feeling that if I left that, a little baby animal would be all like, ooh, fluffy bits. I'm going to like rip on that. Hang on. I've got some scissors somewhere over here. So I've been digging out like bits of yarn left over from other projects. That one's 100% wool. That's some Andromeda. That's 100%. This is the Australian wool that we're going to be using that I've got heaps of, which is, like there's a project that I didn't finish because that's not me at all. I never not finish projects. How many unfinished projects did we find in the craft room the other day, girls? I don't even want to admit to it, really. It was a bit embarrassing. Okay, let's get rid of that chunky knot. All right, let's get in a join. So get that in, bring that over, bring that in. There we go. And we'll tighten that up later. Okay, Spanish said, yeah, just one. How many boxes of projects did you say? Look, now just in my defense, there's not that many boxes of unfinished projects. There is one unfinished project that takes a box, but I think the rest fit into another box. I think it's a big box. 40 tellion. It's a bit like that, isn't it? 40 tellion. I seen a few of my visit to Fiberific. Yeah, I think you did. Lydia. 11 billion. That's right, Sally. 11 billion. You got that one. It's been a while since we've used 11 billion, hasn't it? Oh, goodness me. Do you know if Peruvian Highland wool will be okay? Dee Dee, I don't know Peruvian Highland wool off the top of my head. As long as it's 100% wool, I can't see a problem. But if there's any acrylic mixed in, like any nylon or anything like that, I would say no. Because they need it to stretch and absorb and be warm. Highland wool sounds beautiful. Just double check that it's pure wool. If it's pure wool, it's totally fine. Judy says, I found 8 unfinished objects in my craft room cleanup on Boxing Day. Wow, I wish I only had 8. Lydia says, I felt like I bought half the store. No, you didn't, Lydia. You're totally welcome to come back and buy more. I'm A-okay with this. It's 100% wool, then it is perfect, Dee Dee. Go hard. They just need pure wool. It doesn't need to be super soft. Softer is nicer, but they also are not... these are wild animals, okay? So if you're making stuff for little joeys and things like that, maybe a bit softer if it needs to be a bit softer. But if you're making stuff for the bigger animals, it's totally fine. But I've been finding I'm using, this one's Bendigo Classic. It's not my favorite wool. And the reason I have so much of it is because I used to buy it before I really knew a lot. And I don't like it. It's not my favorite. This one here is just a pure wool from Spotlight, one of their basics that they used to do. I don't know if it is even available anymore. This one's a pure wool. It's Peyton's Baby Dreamtime. It's really soft. Andromeda's soft. This one's pretty soft. It's not as soft as Andromeda. Made by the same mill though, funnily enough. Never heard of twined knitting, Rebecca. Did I miss a Rebecca? Oh, message was retracted. Okay, I didn't see what the message was. Peruvian color combos are pretty. Yes, they are. They are beautiful. My only thing is, because a lot of the yarn I'm using is straight off cones, it's undyed, so it's a bit boring, but the reality is I don't want to spend the time dyeing the yarn. I just want to make the things. So I am giving up the colour. Does that make sense? Giving up the colour in order to get things made faster. In saying that, look at all these beautiful colours I've got laying around. This just happens to be a white one that I pulled out. Ida had a great holiday. That's great, Ida. I'm glad. Jackie's moving to another state, but she's currently in Wingham and it's raining. So I'm so glad to hear that, Jackie. We've been getting little spots of rain here, but like this is the thing, guys. So we're in Brisbane. It's subtropical here. We've been having a really bad dry spell to the point where it will quite often be dry, but we'll get like little sprinklings of rain. So our grass will go brown and dormant, but then we get rain and the grass is green overnight, sort of thing. Whereas it's been so dry for so long now, we're actually starting to get sort of dusty bits. So whereas the grass is actually dying and disintegrating, which is a bit sad, and it doesn't normally happen here. We do normally just end up with lots of brown grass. I'll need to do a new colorway called kangaroo and dye all the things koala. I mean, that's a good point. I could have a look into something I could do about that. 2 Arctic Wolves, welcome to the chat. So Jackie's off to Tassie. When do you leave, Jackie? I know that Jackie, the other Jackie, she's off as well. She's moving interstate too. Judy's in Cairns and we're starting to get wet season rain. Rain heaped last night. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Judy. You guys need your wet season rain or your rainforest dye. So I'm glad to hear you've got some rain coming in. Also, more rain means less chance of fire. So, you know, that would be nice too. Flooding's icky, but fires, I don't know. I reckon fires are worse than flooding. Jackie says, end of the month, there might be a quick trip up to Brizzy. Well, let me know if you come up, Jackie. I'm not concentrating and I've got a feeling I'm losing stitches. Let me just do a quick count, guys. Let me just do a quick count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22, 4, 6, 8, 32, 4, 42, 46. No, I'm good. I think I'm just crocheting tighter while I'm stress talking. So try not to stress talk and crochet, Chantel, because like you can see it. Here was relaxed. Here not so much. There really not so much. Wish it was raining here to put the fire out in Kangaroo Island. I agree, Sally. I agree. Definitely. So it's a tough time for a lot of people at the moment. So we just try to be really respectful of what they're going through and help where we can help without making things worse, I think is the trick. That's always my goal. How can I help without making your life worse? And go from there. So I'm making these. We had a really quiet Christmas. We normally have like quite a large sort of contingent here at the Hills Castle for Christmas. Like last year we had, I think, nearly 30. And sort of we normally do these really big family Christmases. But this year everyone sort of had their own plans. So it was just us 3 and it felt really weird. We did stuff with like my mum, a couple of days later, and with Tim's mum and Tim's dad and brother sort of a couple of days earlier. So we still got to see most people, but we haven't seen everybody yet. And we did not have the big lunch. And I realized part of my getting into Christmas mood is food preparation. So it was, I realized that because I wasn't, cooking up a storm in the lead up to Christmas, I was sort of just plodding around the house and I was just feeling a bit like, well, it doesn't feel like Christmas. And then so I sort of made sure I made a couple of extra little things that sort of kick-started things a bit. We had a storm on Tuesday, and Wednesday morning on the dog walk, I picked up a baby kookaburra. Oh my gosh, Barb, so cute though. I hope it's okay. Spanish Chick says, your Christmas was fine until I railroaded all the girls. Yep, Spanish Chick was the driving force behind getting into my craft room. So thank you, Spanish Chick. It looks great. And there's a space that I can sit at to sort through all the crates and work out what I'm going to de-stash and what I'm not going to de-stash and what I'm going to hoard like a dragon. I have to say the vast majority of people listened to the authorities and evacuated when asked, which means we've only had about 20 people die, which is amazing considering how widespread the fires are. Oh, Jackie, I agree with you. We've had over 2,000 homes lost and only 20 people have perished. And some of those people, unfortunately, being firefighters. So it's just bizarre. Like, well, it's not bizarre. It's people following instruction and understanding that they don't know better than the guys who are trained to deal with this. And I think it's really important to remember we have experts for a reason. We can't all be experts in everything. Bob Curran says her little baby kookaburra is eating, but it cannot fly yet. Well, that's good, because if it's eating, it means it'll eventually be able to fly, right? Yeah, unless you feed it too much, which I can't imagine you would. What have I done there? Hang on a second. Get off you. So you are the turning chain. You are the one into there. You are the one into there, and then a chain. Okay, I'm all good now. Kathleen says, hello, dare I say Happy New Year? Absolutely, you can say Happy New Year. I am all about trying to keep it all positive. Praying and blessing across the land for every human creature, big and small. Thank you. Is Claire in the chat? I don't know if Claire is in the chat, you guys. I don't think she is. I think she's got stuff on. Claire has been a bit closer to the fires than I'd like to think. Claire's dad was trapped in an area where they couldn't escape because there was a ring of fire around the area. So I know she's been a bit stressed. And because they're in a lot more rural area, but I'm very lucky here. One of the big advantages about the cities is that we don't have much other than buildings. We don't have much for fires to eat. You know, we don't have big green spaces around our houses and things like that. We've got, you know, put a flood through here and we're all stuffed. But, you know, a fire is a bit easier. Yeah, she marked herself safe. She's all good. So, yeah. Oh, gosh, I need a drink, you guys, but I want to wait until I get to the end of the road and my throat is dry. That's the other thing. I think I'm catching a cold, just to top everything off. Just like end of a nice holiday, and here's a cold. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and enjoy this head cold. Making a pouch. I am, yes. I am making a Joey pouch using the linen stitch pattern. Oh, where's that little bit of ick come from? Come out, ick bit. There we go. It's definitely, it's like, stop doing that. Yeah, so I'm currently using the Crochet Pouches for Orphaned and Injured Marsupials, pattern number 2, pouch 2, linen stitch. So, and I got my pattern from the Animal Rescue Craft Guild up in their pattern link area. Sorry, I didn't think that, oh yeah, I'm working on white one on a white background. So I'm very sorry about that. I keep moving the pink in so I can do this so you can see it a bit better. That's why I'm leaning on it. It's not because I want to lean on it. It's because it's like white on white. Hey, Lindsay. She's been lurking. I'm not sure if you're only using approved patterns, but there's free hanging nest pattern by Tira that might be useful, available on Ravelry. Lindsay, I'm only using the approved patterns at the moment, but I do know that the group are having a look at some of those hanging nest patterns and are talking to some of their carers and testing some so that they can see as well. But right now, I'm only using their approved patterns. Kathleen says, right, I was doing great avoiding illness. Bam, it's nasty this go round. Yeah. Yeah, we all have to be mindful. I mean, we live in Australia. So, you know, fires and floods, that's, you know, par for the course really, but sometimes the fires and the floods are a bit bigger than we're used to or prepared for. So yeah. Now at the moment I am only making approved patterns, excuse me, because I know they'll get used, and I don't want to go to all the effort, use the supplies on something that that may or may not get used because it's not really what they're after. But they're having a look into it. Someone posted a photo of this cute little sort of teardrop pouch thing. I think it'll end up being fantastic, and it'll be really good when it's approved, or I think it'll get approved, because it's another great one for hanging, and I think they really appreciate the ones that are hanging. So yeah, it'll be good. I think I got the face cam. Let me know if it came back on. Let me just check here. I can move this thing. And yes, it did. Excellent. Excellent. So yes, I'm making pouches just out of scraps and stash and, you know, bits and bobs. And I've got some 100% wool here that I'll be donating. Not this ball. This is rubbish. This is the one I'm using. But I'll make them into pretty skeins and have them all washed for everybody. Meme Cat Do is lurking and crocheting and listening. Hey, thanks Meme Cat Do for joining into the chat, and crocheting and lurking and listening. If you have not hit the thumbs up yet, make sure you do. It lets YouTube know that people are enjoying the chat, and actually lets other people know that we're chatting. Christine says, I'll always need joey pouches as there's more joeys coming into care, not just fire victims. Absolutely. I mean, a lot of these animals are going to be starving. They'll be fine. They will have gotten out of the fire. They won't be burnt, but all their food is gone now. So, yeah, lots of joeys will be coming into care. So, yeah, lots of pouches needed. If you're a sewer, there's lots of amazing options for sewing as well, which I just think are fantastic. I'm not the best sewer out there. I like to sew, but I don't know if it would be useful useful for them. So I'm getting better at sewing. So I'm going to try and get my hands on some flannelette or cotton or something that they can use and make some liners for these guys when I ship them out. They may possibly ditch the liners and get some that someone else made because they're less rubbish. This feels weird. That should be skipped, and then I should work into there. But it just feels like it's tucked out and back in again. Anyway, Spider Chick says, I'm not great either, but practice makes perfect, as they say. Well, see, I don't believe in practice makes perfect. I think practice makes better. That's what I say. Practice makes better. So yeah, but I haven't got any approved supplies for the liners and stuff yet. So I've got to go out and get some sort of, there's particular cotton fleece and stuff I can use. So Jackie's asking, what's everybody working on? Throw it up in the chat, guys. Let me know what you're working on. I've got a joey pouch, size medium, that I'm working on. So let me see what you guys are all doing. Oh, what have I done there? Like, that's wrong. Let's not do that again. Spanachic's playing Pokemon. You love Pokemon, Spanachic. I love how you use it as your, you're helping Maddie. Yeah, you are. You just love Pokemon. Black Cat Knits is working on a joey pouch as well. Awesome, Black Cat Knits. Kathleen's thanking Jackie for all the links. Thank you, Jackie, for all the links. Judy's knitting a medium-sized joey pouch. That's awesome, Judy. Christine's working on a crochet joey pouch as well. Joss is currently at work because she sneaky listens with little headphones at work. But she's making a Persian tiles blanket. That blanket you're working on is stunning, Joss. It's absolutely stunning. I can't wait to see it finished. I can't wait. What else? Spanish wants to know how all Joss's ends are going. We tried to show Joss another blanket that we thought she should make. Sally says she's working on a nest, but my hands are sore. Yeah, I think that the nest with like 3 strands at a time, I think I would like to sort of do a nest in between other projects, if that makes sense, so that I give my hands a little break. Jen Stevenson is working on a Joey pouch as well. Hey Jen, welcome to the chat. We've been chatting on Facebook. Is that all right? Yeah, that's all right. Every now and again, I've just got to double check. Rebecca's having her tea because it's tea time over where you are. Awesome, Rebecca. Joss weaves her ends in as she goes, unlike me, who weaves them all to the end. Kathleen says, when I can hold my head up, I'm creating a dog bag for my little mister. Oh, that's awesome. Sally's using 2 strands and struggling. Yeah, I get it, Sally. I get it, because they've got to be so tightly done for the nests. Just go slow is all I can say, is do a round and do something else. Go and wash your hands and work on something else. Jackie Doyle's working on a prototype. Using diamonds are a girl's best friends in Boots Lace. Ooh, I can't wait to see some photos. See, now, Rebecca, now I'm thinking about what I'm going to have for lunch, Rebecca. My tummy went, food. Yes, time for food. I should have had a better breakfast than what I did. It's just some cereal. I do check out your Insta. I'll have to have a look. I've been a bit lax on the old social media. I find it a little overwhelming sometimes with all this sort of fire stuff that sometimes I'll be needing a few more breaks. It's totally fine, Rebecca. It's totally fine. Spanish Chick should definitely make more of that dip. If Spanish Chick ever offers to bring dip to an event that she's coming to, you must say yes. It's one of those crazy multi-layered Mexican dips with avocado and sour cream and beans and it's a food group is what it is. Now my tummy wants that. Sally says, I think I'll have to buy some chunky yarn and 100% wool that I might try. Oh yeah, there you go. That would be a way to go as well. Spanish Chick has physio this afternoon. So is that your way of saying you won't be making dip? I'm not quite sure what that means, Spanish Chick. I mean, does that mean no dip for me? I don't know. Two Arctic Wolves is making some squares. Awesome. What blanket are you making? Is it just squares, or has it got a name? Because I'm working on a blanket. When I say working, it's a work in progress that I may not have touched for, like 6 months. But I've got this blanket and I've done all the big motifs, and now I need to do all the triangles in between the big motifs, and that's where I stalled. So that's been ages. Spanish Chick says she can do both. Two Arctic Wolves says she's doing squares. Are they all the same colour, or are they going to be multicoloured? I don't know. Jackie says, I know what you mean. Fortunately, my Insta for knitting mostly has yarn and craft stuff, but Facebook is getting a bit overwhelming. Yeah. I've been just sort of trying to, like, while I keep working on my pouches and things like that, but I'll put Netflix on or something rather than look at other stuff. Lindsay is working on Heidi Bear's patterns right now. Almost time to assemble. Oh, see how it goes. There's a beautiful glider fox pouch that's been approved, and it's so cute. And they've even put like little like it's got like its a little bag, right? And it's got little leaves on the outside. I don't know if you need all the embellishments or not, but the embellishments are totally cute. I just about knocked over the camera then. Let's not do that. I'm just going to move this away. 15 squares, 4 to 5 colours. Oh, that'll be nice. Kath is working on her Pippin's Arizona blanket, and then Steph's Yaya. Oh, nice, Kathy. That sounds like a nice little project pile you've got going there. I read that as psycho, not physio. I mean, they're both really appropriate, though, aren't they? Two Arcticle says it's joined with white. Yeah, I like to join all my squares with a colour. I find that it hides the seaming a bit better. Whether you crochet seam it or actually do like whip stitch or something, it actually just really helps keep it all nice and neat. This blanket that I'm working on, all the edges are done in black. But I've got another little blanket that I started, which I think I'm going to frog or something. I don't think I'm going to continue on. But it's like pink hexagons with white edging. Rebecca's been thinking about making a jumping spider for her brother. I mean, I'm not a fan because it's a spider, but how would you make a jumping spider? Just out of curiosity. I'm not sure going to a psycho would help. I mean, that's true. Pippin's working on a crochet it by Will Made. I'll have to look into that one, Pippin. I don't know what that is. Sally's asking if that's to scare him. Is he a spider person? He likes spiders. Some people like spiders. I'm not a fan. Maybe not to the same extent that Crochet a Clock is, but I'm definitely not a fan. Alison says I'm making little wedding gift boxes on her Cricut for her daughter. Alison, you are going hard on that Cricut. I'm a bit jealous. Both you and Kim have got new Cricut machines, and the things that you're making are so amazing, and I want to make it. Rebecca found a stuffy pattern for the jumping spider on Ravelry. Okay, cool. Yeah, I've been thinking more and more how nice it would be to have a Cricut. But I also think it would be a rabbit hole for me. Like, I don't have enough rabbit holes for me to fall down around here. Like, you guys may not have seen exactly how hard I had to rally against going and doing actual screen printing classes and all that sort of stuff, because I was just like, I want to screen print everything. I want everything screen printed. I want to do all the screen printing. And then I did a bit of it, and I'm like, I still want to do all the screen printing, but I have to put it down now. Ida is working on a baby blanket for her new great-granddaughter coming next month. That's so cute, Ida. Oh, Spanish chick, that's terrible. I saw a meme about spiders in Australia and someone saying, but you need to burn the whole country, and someone else saying, my bad. Oh, gosh. Yeah. It's even been a bit dry, like even without the fires, it's been a bit dry for the spiders. It's no for him to scare his girlfriend and his twin sister. Rebecca, you are not going to be like, everyone's going to be all like, it's mum's fault. She made it for me. So funny. So funny. Turn and work into that one. And work into that space. Sorry, every now and again I have to remind myself what I'm doing because I don't know. I'm not 100% happy with this edge, to be honest. But it'll be fine. It'll be fine, Chantel. You don't have to be a pedantic. You can tidy it up later. You can seam it so it's nice and neat. Alison says there's so much you can do with them, and Spotlight has a sale on their pressing machines. I may have ordered one. Oh. Oh my gosh. Alison, you and Spanichick should never ever meet, honestly. Oh man. Because, like, yeah, I'm seeing what Spanichick can make with hers, and I'm just like blown away by what can be done with the Crochet machine. I also know that you guys can help me make my screen printing screens. Oh dear. Like the little short print runs, because I know I can only use a Cricut screen for a few like runs before it builds up or something. It's bad. I don't know. I've watched lots of videos. So if you just want to make one or two things, then it works. But if you want to do like 100, not so much. What I need to find is someone who can make me my screen printing screen that I can just keep rinsing and reusing with my water-based inks that I use for my bags. That would be great. But like with a proper screen printer. But I don't know anyone around here who screen prints who would be willing to, you know, basically do themselves out of the work of screen printing my bags for me. See, look, it's doing this. I don't like that. I've got the right number of stitches. It's just my tension's changed. So I'm just double checking everything's lining up. It is. It's all good. Yeah. Anyway. Wait, did you get the pattern for the pouches? Okay, so there's a group on Facebook called Australian Rescue Craft Guild. No. Oh my God. Animal Rescue Craft Guild. If someone can pop a link up. If you join their group, They've got like all the tabs at the top. They've got one called Files. If you go into Files, they've got like PDFs listed of knitting, sewing, crochet, and even some loom knitting stuff, just all the things you need to make. And these are pre-approved. So if you follow the pattern, just also grab the what yarn for what list, because they might actually recommend a different yarn than what the actual pattern recommends. So these patterns weren't written for the group, they were just written in general. And then, so if it's like, you know, the pattern might say acrylic's fine, but if you actually read the what yarn for what, if it says Joey pouches 100% wool, you've got to do 100% wool. So otherwise I can't use them. So let me go back to my screen. Thank you, Jackie, for tossing links in. Silk and photosensitive. Oh, look, Jackie, I've got it all, and I've done it, and I made some screen prints here, but I'm just not very good at using the emulsion. I end up with, like, because my scoop is too thin for my screens, I had to run it twice, which meant there was a thick bit, which means that after a while it peels off. So yeah, so I've done it, and it works, but I think if I could get it, someone like professional do it, I'd be able to use the same screen for years, which is what most people do. If they've got a screen that they want, that they use for lots of things, they can use it over and over again, but my screens wear out. So like the photo emulsion starts to peel and lift because I'm bad at it, is what the problem is. I am bad. I actually can turn the craft shack into a really great dark room, and these lights are fantastic for setting, but I'm just not very good with the emulsion. And also I've got like spotlight emulsion, so maybe it could be like the gear I'm using. I was thinking maybe if we applied an iron-on to vinyl to the underside of the screen. Yeah, it would depend on what the screen's made out of. I'd have to have a look, make sure the screen itself didn't melt in the heat. But, you know, I'm willing to try it, especially for the one I use on the bags. Like, that one's not going to change anytime soon until, like, I change my logo. So, which I'm not planning on doing anytime soon, FYI. When I come up, I'll help you out. Oh, we might be able to do this. This might work. This could work. It looks like we've got some options, guys. We've got some options. Might have to clean some screens. Oh, I'm just sitting here reading. Sorry. I'm looking at the time now. It's 11 o'clock, guys, so we've got half an hour more. If you've got any questions, throw them in. Throw them in for me. I'm happy to try and answer anything I can answer. We've got Caffeinated Crafters next week, not this week. I was tossing up whether or not to go tonight anyway, just for funsies. But I'm tired. I didn't sleep very well last night. It was a bit hot here. And, you know, we don't put the aircon on every night. So last night was no aircon night. So I didn't sleep very well. And I'm just tired today. So, you know, I'm just going to plod along. I've got some orders to ship out and some emails to reply to, and that's all I'm going to really do today, because Fibrifix in what's called a slowdown. It's not a shutdown, but it's a slowdown, just so I can still have a bit of break and do stuff with Abby while she's on holidays. She's only on holidays for another couple of weeks. And then she's back to school, so then I can, you know, ramp it back up at the end of January. That's the goal, guys. January, I tend to have a nice big break because it's about the only chance I get for a big break. Meme loves the pouch. Thank you. I'm enjoying it. I definitely prefer this linen stitch than this single crochet one. I feel like I get more in the flow, and because I can just sort of feel, whereas, you know, that one you've got to go through the 2 loops all the time. As long as I find the gap, I'm good. So it's good for chatting while I'm doing as well. So also I think this yarn's nicer. I mean, there's so many variations between why this one's better than that one. But the yarn's nicer and the stitch is easier to do. And, so I'll go through and I'll actually weave these ends in properly later. So no little sneaky marsupials can get their hands on them and pull them out. Hopefully. Marsupials are sneaky animals, so they may well try. What have I done there? It's just a bit of a loose stitch. That's all right. I can live with that. I'll fix it up. Repetitive single crochet gets boring. Yes, it does. Oh my God, it does. So boring. I mean, you'd think linen stitch would get boring too, but it doesn't seem to get quite as boring as just single crochet. I don't know what the deal is. I mean, I suppose I'm alternating between two stitches, but one of the stitches is like a no-brainer, really. So I don't get it. I don't understand. But it's how it's working. It's definitely working. So I've got a second ball. So I've got 2 balls of this particular one, and the get away from me. The pattern there is calls for 2 balls. So what I'm going to do is I was really hoping that when I finish one ball, it would be a bit more square shaped, but it's definitely a rectangle, and a couple of rows is not going to really change that. This is, believe it or not, I'll probably block this. Kathleen's got to go and rest her foggy head. Let's plan a celebration for fires out, folks. Be able to regain some normalcy. For now, peace, safety to everyone. Stay well. Chantel, everyone hugs, toodles. Till next time. Kathleen, go and rest your head, and we will chat more later. Have a good night. Bye. Yeah, I am definitely chaining one and skipping one. It makes a difference. I don't know. I don't know what the difference. It's still a really simple stitch. It's not like it's tricky, and it doesn't grow super fast. But this definitely grows faster than that one, without a doubt. So yeah. It is crazy. I don't understand why these things feel different, but it's not that different. It definitely feels different though. Also, this yarn is so much softer than the... Am I the only one who's not a fan of Bendigo Wool & Mills Classic? Like, I love lots of Bendigo yarns, don't get me wrong. I love most of them. But the Classic and me have just never been good mates. I don't know what the deal is. And like, I want to be friends with it because it's a harder yarn. But yeah, are you going to do some decreases on the corners? Not according to the pattern I'm working off. Let me just double check. That is not the pattern. There we go. Scroll. One row. No DCs, no decreases on the corners for this particular pattern. It's just a straight up, like, little square rectangle thing. Classic is a bit rough, yeah. It definitely is, isn't it? It's definitely a bit rough. So yeah, I don't know, I'm not a fan. But I found that I don't like a lot of crepe style yarns. People have been to make them more rounded like their liners. Well, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do with my liners yet. I'm just following the patterns, honestly. I'm just following the approved patterns. I'm not going to mess around with what they've asked for. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm just going by the approved patterns. But, I mean, it's not that hard to make square corners in your liners either, really, is it? So... And, sometimes they'll use these square sections for, they'll use the square section to make it so they can stand them up easier. Bendy Classic is a great budget yarn, but it's not soft. Yes, I agree with you. It is a good price. Actually, I consider all of the Bendigo yarns budget yarns because you get these beautiful big 200 gram balls for like, what, $15? Like for 200 grams with like hardly any knots, like, hello, that's budget, right? Meme says, linen stitch is an easy, mindless pattern. You know, I've never really done much linen stitch, and I think I'm hooked. My favourite crochet stitch has always been a half double or a half treble if you're in Australia. And I really like the half double, half treble kind of look as well. But this is really, I think if I was using like a semi-solid or something as well, or a variegated, it would also still look great, I think. Yeah. So I think that I'm a convert to the old, I don't want a chain there. Beep. I have to remember the edge is different to the rest of the thing. Like no chain between the two for there, but then the rest you can. Yeah, because I want nice firm edge on it. So yeah, so I've been watching lots of Netflix, lots of Amazon Prime. I watched The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. I think we're pretty much going to cancel Disney Plus now because I really wanted it for Mandalorian. Have you decided on a pattern for your well? Yes, I have. I've actually started it. It's a top. Sea Life, I think is what it's called. I'll have to have a double check. I'll pop a link over into the Fibre Fit Fun Zone later on, and with a progress shot. But I've kind of thrown it to the wayside so I could make some of these. Hey Caroline from Canada, we get bad fires too, but it's like your whole country is on fire. It makes me cry to think of it. Take care of you down under. Yeah, I definitely understand that, Caroline. We normally have fires, but this is the worst it's been for a long time. Yeah, it is. I agree with you. It does. It's just, you do cry. You sort of look at the news and you sort of think just all that's lost and just hope that there's good regrowth. It's a bit full on. Crochet or fade uses linen stitch. I did not know that, Sally. I'll have to have a look at that now. Thanks. Another project. More of The Witcher like yesterday. Oh, I know. Definitely enjoyed watching The Witcher. That was great. I actually just watched the I'm not a big fan of like horror, but I watched the new Dracula series on Netflix yesterday. It's only short. I thought it was an interesting take on it. I'm not sure what I think about it 100%. It was a bit gruesome for me. Because as I said, I'm not the biggest fan of horror. So there was a bit of me going, oh, when's this bit over? Oh, I don't like that bit. But I actually didn't mind the story of it. So just watched Anne with an E. See, I've never been a fan of Anne with Green Gables. I'm sorry if that's shocking to people, but I tried watching Anne with an E when it first came to Netflix, and I was just like, yep, nope, not watching it. And I don't mind the occasional drama. I've gotten sucked into, what's that one called that my husband got me into? Virgin River? I got sucked into that one. Well done. It's totally a soapy. With beautiful, oh my gosh, the most beautiful scenery. And that's how he sucked me in. He was like, oh my God, look at this place. And I sort of sat down and was like, oh, it's beautiful. And then I got sucked into the storyline, and now I love the characters, and I just keep watching it. I don't normally watch much drama. I'm definitely more of a sci-fi girl, but that one's just pretty. And I like murder mysteries, right? Like, so I like Midsummer Murders, and I like Hinterland and Sheffield. But a lot of those I like because of the scenery, and he knows that. So he knew that it would suck me in. So now he's like, oh, let's watch another episode, and I'm just like, stop that, stop making me watch chick shows. So yeah, it is one of those things. But yeah, so I think unless Disney, oh hello, we're right at the end there. We have to dig out a new ball. Bear with me. It's in my little bag down here. Falling down. There we go. Yeah, so this is some yarn I bought on clearance like 11 million years ago. Oh, I just ripped the thing. Good job, Chantel. I got it for $1. $1 a ball. 100% wool. 50 grams. It recommends a 5.5 mil hook. I'm using a 3.5 because the pattern calls for 3.5. Oh, it actually calls for 4, but I'm a loose crocheter, so I always have to, allow for that. And drop a hook size or 3. Let's join on the new ball. Oh, there's a hair. Good job. Ooh, have you watched Shetland? Yes, I have. I've watched all of Shetland. I'm waiting for the next season to come out. I get sucked in with the series. Yeah, see? Show the table. What? What do you mean show the table? I'm confused. We got Netflix, but I still don't watch it. My parents hog it. Oh, okay, Rebecca. That's a bit full on. We've got a 2-screen account. I don't know what the deals are you guys get in the US, but in Australia we pay for a certain number of screens to watch. So we've got a 2-screen account, which means that, you know, if my husband's watching one show, I can watch another one, or if my daughter's watching a show, I can watch another one. Oh, show my label. That was it. It was just, it's very old. It's Dashing, D-A-S-H-I-N-G. That's not very, sorry, it's not very clear. Composition 100% wool. I bought this so long ago. Even if they still sell it, it won't have this same ball band, I'm sure. But Dashing, it feels lovely. I'd use it for some stuff. How's my face cam off again? What time is it? Oh, it's 11:22. There we go. Okay. You can make a Baby Yoda on your profile picture for Disney. You can. What have I used? I haven't used Baby Yoda. I think I've got a Mandalorian. I think I've got the Mandalorian as my face cam photo. Yeah. But yeah, so we decided sort of like it was always going to be an issue if we just had the one. So we sort of decided just to pay the extra. I think it's $2 a month or something for the extra license. License is the right word? Extra access. So, but we found that with, you know, we've got a couple of streaming services, so we're probably not all on Netflix at the same time anyway, but, you know, that's what we do. It's a good project, isn't it, Caroline? It's, you know, it's simple, it's easy, and then basically what I do is once I get to the end, I actually flip it up and seam down the sides. So, I mean, it's not the most, I'm not happy with my, edges here, you guys, but we'll see, a couple of washes and it'll loosen up for sure. The extra is definitely worth it with the family. Oh, for sure. Yeah. If you've got to share it with multiple people, it's definitely worth it. But if you're the only one who watches it, then man, don't waste your money. Save your money for something else. I know I would be. And yeah, so Mandalorian's off Disney, so which I'm loving. But there's so many good movies, so we decided that we'll keep it until the end of the school holidays, and then we'll switch off Disney for a little while. And then what we'll do is in a few months we'll switch Disney back on and switch off, you know, one of the others that we've got, so that we can rotate through them and get all their content. So, because you can't have all the streaming services all the time, no matter how much you want to. I think they worked out that there's something like 11 streaming services, like paid streaming services in Australia at the moment. Some of them are a bit like, wow, they were scraping the bottom of the barrel on that one. But you've got, what have we got? We've got Disney, Netflix, Amazon Prime, 10 All Access. Oh my God, I don't even know what all 11 were, honestly. Jackie says, yeah, I swap back and forth depending on what they're showing, for sure. Oh yeah, Stan's another one. So, but yeah, every now and again I'll be like, oh man, that looks great, but I am not signing up for that for one show. So the gloaming looks good on Stan, so if anyone can tell me if that is worth watching, I would love to know. Oh, Foxtel, yeah, that's right, Foxtel. That's never happened. Oh, well, it does happen. Tim gets Foxtel now when Game of Thrones was on. Oh yeah, there's so much free stuff. Like every channel's got a free channel. Like ABC, SBS, Channel 7, Channel 9. Does Channel 10 have a free one? I think they've all got a free one. But yeah, I was just like, it's 11 paid services. So you've got like KO for sport. Yeah. Carolyn says, do you get Murdoch Mysteries in Netflix? It's pretty light for murder mysteries. Yeah, I've watched a couple of episodes. I may also have a VPN, so I've got access to US Netflix as well. So it would be good to crochet knit too. Yeah, and that's the thing. So I tend to find shows I've already watched, okay, so or something light-hearted. So on Amazon Prime, they've got these I think it's Tea Garden Murder Mysteries, which I watched one of, and that was pretty interesting. And then there was a one where there's a chef. I can't think of his name, but anyway, there was a chef murder mystery one. That was pretty interesting as well. But I think there's only like 3 or 4 movies. Sally says, I have Foxtel, Stan, Netflix, and I did have 10 all access. I think Murdoch Mysteries is on one of the free-to-airs. Yeah, I think it's on the ABC at the moment. Or no, one of them additional Channel 7s. Anyway, I don't know. It's on one of them. I've seen ads for it. But yeah, you know, there's so many. There's so many. We've got a few, and we've kept them for over Christmas. No, it wasn't Pie in the Sky, because that's the thing. I liked Pie in the Sky. It's another one. I can't think of his name. He's tall and he's got really piercing eyes. I'll find out what it's called and I'll put it in Fiberific Fun Zone. No, not that one. It's not Pie in the Sky for sure. I can't think of it. It's on Amazon Prime. It's in their thriller section. It's not a thriller, but it's in their thriller section. But yeah, so there's a cop and a chef who team up. It's kind of funny, but it's good too. So, but yeah, I like a lot of murder mysteries. I like Midsummer Murders so much. My husband bought me like box sets of all the different seasons. They've got these amazing deals at Sanity and JB Hi-Fi. They're called chocolate boxes, and you get this sort of long rectangular box, and it's got 4 seasons in it for like $60, which if you bought a single season of Midsummer Murders, you're looking at $30 for $40 just for one season. So getting getting 4 for $60 is great. And I managed to get like a 50% off something, which is how I got my first one, and then it just fell down a rabbit hole. Oh yeah, then there's Acorn as well. Yes. Have I seen Agatha Raisin? I've seen that it exists, but I haven't watched any episodes. Does that make sense? So many things. And so, yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've just been resting up. My body's a little bit sore. So I've just been resting, crafting, and watching telly is basically it for my life. With the occasional pop out to the shed to check emails and you know, send the occasional order. So yeah, that's where we're at. So I'm, you know, pretty cruisy, and I will be for the next few weeks. So yeah, if someone's got something urgent they need, I try and get that out for them pretty quick. But in the meantime, it's just every couple of days I come and have a look and see what's got to be done and work out if it needs to be done right this minute. In other news, I made a knee-high sock with one skein of Fiberific Special Edition teacup. Still need to make the other one for my other skein. Have you got photos somewhere, Christine? That would be so gorgeous. That teacup yarn was so cute. Oh, you definitely need to make your other sock. You can't not, right? Like, don't look at me. Like, all my socks are singles. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to continue on with this today. This is my goal, is to finish this one today. Keep an eye over on my Instagram feed. I'm sure. Gourmet Detective. That is it, Sally. That's the one. Gourmet Detective. Thank you. It was going to bug me. You know it was going to bug me. Thank you, Rebecca, as well, for the 1-minute reminder. So yeah, so today I'm going to sit back. I'm going to chill. I'm going to find some lunch. I'm not sure what I'm going to have, but I'm going to find some lunch, and I'm going to keep working on this, find something else to pop on TV. I've got a few orders I'll post out this afternoon and go from there. So I hope you all have a fantastically wonderful weekend. Have a look and see how you can help out. Money to these organisations is always needed, but if you've got time and energy making some pouches for these animals, and if you don't want to ship it internationally, make it for your animals and in your country, and just think about them. Think about how important they are. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out here during this live stream today. I've had a good time. I'm glad I didn't cry when I was talking about all the stuff. I hope you all have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, and an excellent weekend. I'll catch you all next week for Fibrific chat, same time, same place, all normal as of next week. So I'll see you later. Bye.